Wait, before you click the video or anything like that, please watch this. It'd be very nice of you. Anyway, let's get to it. Hello people on the internet. Today I'll be talking about if the RMMV Oceanic existed. So let's get the story started. On June 28th, 1928, the RMMV Oceanic was laid down, and on the bright side for White Star Line, which at this point in time was not in a great position, construction was moving fast. By July of 1929, due to some issues, construction was halted until January of the next year. So, yeah. But construction continued after that, slower than before, but still by April of 1933, the hull was complete. But in November of 1933, construction was halted yet again until July 1934. But before construction restarted on May 10th, 1934, White Star Line merged with Cunard, and since Cunard was the main shareholder, it kind of had control over the Oceanic and pretty much everything related to White Star Line. But still, Oceanic was going to be built just as intended, because, yeah, I mean, the hull was already finished. It's not like, why bother with just scrapping the fucking thing when they could just easily finish it? And on July 24th, 1935, the Oceanic was launched. And after a very long process of fitting out, on August 27th, 1936, the RMMV entered service. It was 1,050 feet long and 82,914 gross registered tons, making it the largest ship in the world. It had a service speed of 30 knots, also making it one of the fastest. She joined her running mate, the RMS Queen Mary, which had entered service that May, and another running mate was about to be ordered. But on September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland, which started World War II. And the Oceanic was already in New York, the Queen Mary was on her way, and the new running mate, RMS Queen Elizabeth, wasn't ready yet. But from March 3rd to 7th, 1940, she sailed to New York. So, yeah, now all three ships were in New York. But in November of 1940, the Oceanic and Queen Mary sailed to Sydney, Australia, to be converted into troop ships, and the Queen Elizabeth sailed to Singapore, and on May 23rd, 1941, Oceanic began heading to Southampton carrying 11,000 Australian troops. She arrived in Southampton on June 12th. From this point to December 11th, she would go from Southampton to Halifax, but carrying Canadian troops. But on December 11th, the United States joined the war. And when that happened, she was already halfway to Halifax, so she just changed route to New York. And so now, as you could have guessed, her route was from Southampton to New York. And after that, not much happened. She was too fast for torpedoes until February 22nd, 1944. While carrying 14,000 troops, she was hit by a torpedo on her port side right under the number 1 funnel. Only flooding 2 compartments though, so of course the ship was fine. So the ship continued to Southampton, and after that, again, not much happened. And finally, the war ended on May 8th, 1945. She arrived in New York for troops on May 10th, but of course, since the war was over, she just headed right back to Southampton after getting refueled. From May 10th, 1945 to September 4th, 1946, she was just, carrying troops back and forth, taking troops out of Europe and putting them back in America. Just typical stuff. And from then to July 23rd, 1947, she was refitted into a passenger ship. And so she went back to regular service. And better yet, she was very popular, and remained popular through the rest of the 1940s, 50s, and even the early 60s. And through these decades, she had a very uneventful career. Only 2 major events happened. On August 9th, 1953, she ran aground off Southampton. She was freed on August 11th and returned to service that day. The next event happened on March 23rd, 1961. She rammed a tugboat while leaving New York, but in the mid-60s her popularity was dropping, and by mid-1967 she was no longer profitable. And on November 13th, 1967, she was decommissioned, but now there's questions of what to do with her. Were they going to scrap her? Sell her? What? I mean, she was one of the last White Star ships left. But on January 12th, 1968, she was sold to the city of Belfast, where she was put in the area of this image. Just imagine she's there. I'm doing the best I can, man. She was turned into a hotel and museum, and that brings up now. Of course, the Oceanic was joined by the only other existing White Star liner, the SS Nomadic, in 2011. But overall, that's it. Anyway, if you are still watching, then thank you very much. That was very kind of you, and I hope you like this. So anyway, bye.